wellness revolution starts now.
Hello, I'm Dr. Steve Hotze. Welcome to today's program. I've got a wonderful interview at the end of this first segment. We're going to be talking about fatty liver disease and talk about the function of the liver. Of course, your liver is located in your abdomen on the right side beside the stomach, and your liver plays a very important role in keeping your body healthy. If you have a healthy liver, you're going to be healthy. If you have a sick liver, you're going to be sick. The liver helps detoxify chemicals and substances in your body, harmful substances, toxins, drugs, other waste products, and their metabolites, and then prepares them to be excreted either in the stool or in the urine. It also produces bile, and bile is a substance that then goes to the gallbladder, and every time you eat a fatty meal to help digest the fat, the bile is excreted, and it enables you to digest that fat in your meals. It also produces proteins in the body. Albumin is one of the key proteins that it produces, but some other key cofactors that are essential for blood coagulation and immune system proteins. It's also a storage site for some key vitamins and minerals, particularly vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin B12, and coenzyme Q10. It also helps regulate your lipids. It produces cholesterol, which is a very important and essential molecule in the body. Cholesterol services every nerve in your body. Myelin has to have cholesterol to make myelin, the myelin sheaths around your nerves. In your brain, cholesterol surrounds every cell. In fact, every cell in the body has a cholesterol ring around it. And then cholesterol is also converted into vitamin D. When you have sunlight, it converts cholesterol into vitamin D. So it plays a very important role in health. And when the liver becomes diseased for various reasons, most commonly people think of, well, somebody drinks too much and they get cirrhosis of the liver. Cirrhosis of the liver is fibrosis of the liver, scarring of the liver. And as the liver scars and it can't function anymore, then you get end-stage liver disease. And if your liver's not working, you're going to die. Some people go ahead and they're able to get a liver transplant, but it's not available to everybody. And why in the world would you want to get a liver transplant when there's proper ways to properly treat liver damage? And we're going to talk about that shortly. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is caused by, and that's where the liver gets fat. As people gain more weight, and 70% of the population is overweight, so if 70% I'm talking to right now are overweight, 35 to 40% of the people are obese, and if your body's fat, you can be sure that you're going to get a fatty liver. And what causes this increase in weight and due to fat storage? Well, it's caused by insulin resistance. Insulin is a hormone made by your pancreas. When you eat a substance that's converted to sugar, and that would be wheat products, corn products, potatoes, and rice, or just plain sugar, soft drinks, those sort of things, they're converted, they're stored into your cells to be converted into energy. But if you have a high simple carbohydrate diet, a high sugar diet, you secrete a lot of insulin, and interestingly enough, your cells become resistant to the insulin. So you've got excess sugar in your blood. And what the body then does is it takes that sugar and stores it as fat. And as that fat's stored, it can cause inflammation in the body. And that can lead to a whole host of health problems, including diabetes, and that leads to heart disease, and it can lead to kidney disorders. It can lead to strokes, and a whole host of health problems are caused by excess weight gain, including liver disease. So the symptoms of liver disease are usually not very significant initially. You may have some abdominal pain, may have some nausea, may have some swollen abdomen. You may have some mental confusion. You may even, if it gets bad enough, you may turn yeller. That's the buildup of bile in your system. As the liver deteriorates, you turn yeller. Not like old Yeller. We're not talking about the dog. You literally turn yellow. And that's called jaundiced. You become jaundiced. So question is, what can you do about, and by the way, I do want to mention too, low thyroid can also lead to a low metabolic rate, which means your body doesn't function as well. None of the organs or your brain function as well, nor does the immune system or even your bone marrow. And low thyroid can lead to dramatic weight increase and to fatty liver disease. So what do we do about fatty liver disease? Well, a simple treatment is, first thing we want to say is you want to prevent liver disease, you want to get yourself on a more ketogenic eating program. You need to eat healthy fats and oils, cod liver oil, olive oil, real butter. You don't want to eliminate, and that means whole milk, cream. If you do that, that helps put good healthy oils in your body. And when you eat a diet that contains more natural fats, guess what? You end up burning those fats they become ketones, and they burn slowly, and they go to an area of the brain and they satisfy you. If you eat a simple carbohydrate diet, you get a high sugar level, and then it falls dramatically, and you get a hunger craving, and so you're on and off all day long trying to keep your sugar level up, and you're creating a problem because you're getting insulin resistant, and that, of course, leads to the storage of fat, and you gain weight. Next thing you know, you've got fatty liver disease. Now, it's not routinely diagnosed when you go to your doctor unless you have elevated liver enzymes. And when we have elevated liver enzymes, the first thing the physician should do is do an elastogram, a sonogram of the liver to see if you have any fatty liver disease, or they can do an enhanced liver fibrosis test. It's a blood test to see if that's elevated. And if it's elevated, you've got fatty liver disease. Well, the doctors will say, well, you just need to eat better and exercise. Well, there's a treatment for fatty liver disease and cirrhosis of the liver, whether it's caused by hepatitis, whether it's caused by alcohol, whether it's caused by parasites like schistosomes. Anything that causes liver damage can lead to cirrhosis of the liver and the development of fibrosis of the liver, and cause the liver to become sick and ill, and you're just not going to function well on that. And a treatment is alpha-lipoic acid, and it's given in an IV form. And if you have that problem, you get an elastogram. You find out from the sonogram that you've got fatty liver disease, and you do the liver enhanced liver fibrosis test, and you find out that that's abnormal. Then you should be treated with alpha-lipoic acid. Most doctors will say, well, if it gets any worse, we're just going to have to do a liver transplant. Well, a liver transplant is not anything you want to have done when you're putting in somebody's foreign organ in your body, and liver transplants aren't 100% successful. I don't know what the success rate is, but if you're putting somebody else's organ in your body, that it wasn't meant to be there. You're supposed to keep your own organs, okay? And that includes your liver. So if you do alpha-lipoic acid, what we do is we do a treatment of 20 to 30 treatments, and you take 2 treatments a week, and this will clear up your liver. And in our interview that we're getting ready to have with Marie Strickler, she's a longtime guest of ours who had fatty liver disease really for no reason. She was only 15 or 20 pounds overweight, didn't drink, rarely maybe had a glass of wine, but it could be the chemicals in the environment, just home chemicals. Had have to go through the liver, and they can poison the liver. And, we're talking about processed foods. We're talking about seed oils that are all processed. They process them so they don't degenerate. Normal oil will go rancid on you. So they heat it up, and they create a type of fat that then can damage. It's toxic, and it's toxic to the liver and other parts of your body. And so people they're eating the wrong foods, and they're eating a high simple carbohydrate diet. And then they're exposed to all the petrochemicals from the lotions you put on, the soap you use, the hairspray, all these various substances that are also in all the processed foods. They put all kinds of chemicals in there, and guess what? That can lead to damage of your liver. Your liver, remember, has to detoxify these chemicals. And if they get overloaded, they literally burn up and will destroy liver and cause the liver to become fibrotic and cirrhotic. So the treatment of that would be alpha-lipoic acid and change your eating program. So you're eating more ketogenic eating program where you eat natural fats, natural oils, and you cut down on your simple carbs and your sugars. And the simple carbs, of course, are any wheat, corn, or potatoes or rice products, or just plain sugar. All these things, and the American diet is filled with basically these various processed junk foods. And if you put junk food in your body, well, your body's going to be junk. If you put good, healthy food in your body, and that would be naturally grown vegetables and meats that are range-fed meat, that would be your beef and your chicken, that are grown in an environment where they're not spraying chemicals like glyphosate into the soil, which is terrible because it damages the soil and the bacteria in the soil, and then the animals eat this various products from the soil, the various grasses, and they don't have the nutrients in it that come from the bacteria, and so they're going to be nutritionally deficient. So it all goes back to your eating, basically, making sure you're not putting products in your body that are toxic. And now I'd like to introduce to you a guest of ours here at the Hotze Health and Wellness Center, Marie Strickler, who came in November of 2023 with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. She lives in Farmington, New Mexico. Longtime friends of ours, Janie and mine, and Marie and her husband have been longtime friends. They used to live in Houston, and her husband, James, contacted me, and I said that she had fatty liver disease. I said she should come in and be treated with alpha-lipoic acid, which I described in the previous segment. So, Marie, you came in November. In fact, November the 3rd of 2023, you had an ultrasound done, elastography, and it showed that you had liver cirrhosis. And yes. Fatty liver disease, as I explained, can lead to cirrhosis of the liver, and it can which leads to fibrosis of the liver and destroys the liver, which you can't live without your liver, as we explained. You've got to have your liver, and the liver has some very important functions. And when you destroy the liver, you can no longer detoxify. You can't produce bile. You have a lot of protein synthesis and vitamins and minerals that are stored in the liver. And when the liver doesn't function, basically you're a goner unless you can get a liver transplant. And the best thing to do is save your liver, have a clean liver. And so you decided to come in at that time, and you went through a series of treatments with alpha-lipoic acid intravenously. We started you on 150 milligrams and worked up to 600 milligrams. You took that twice a week, and you stayed here in Houston, and you had 24 treatments. And you had a repeat ultrasound back home in Farmington, which showed that you'd had a dramatic decrease in the cirrhosis that had been caused by the fatty liver disease. So tell us about that. Tell us about symptoms you had had. How did you find out originally that you had fatty liver disease?
Okay, so this goes way back when I was I'm 71 now. When I was probably 45, I went to the doctor, had the regular blood tests, and my liver enzymes were high. So I asked him, he didn't think much about it. They were borderline. And I said, well, I don't understand why they're high because I don't drink very much. I mean,
occasional glass of wine or something, but
yeah. I mean, I said, I've never been drunk in my life. I'd never done drugs. Why would my liver enzymes be high? And he said, well, I don't know. He said, I said, well, I want to find out because it seems crazy to me. I mean, and so he referred me to a specialist who did a biopsy, which was probably over the top, but she did a biopsy and she came back and basically said, well, you have NASH. And I didn't know what that was.
He said what?
She said, you have NASH, non-alcoholic systemic hepatitis.
Right.
And I thought, well, why would I have that? I don't do anything that should cause that. I mean, I was probably 20 pounds overweight, maybe 15, 20 pounds at that time. Typical, mom weight. And so she said, well, I don't know, maybe. I said, is it because I breathed in something? I thought of all the times I'd breathed in chemicals cleaning the house, and she said, who knows? She said, but this is the thing. She said, we don't really know why some people get this. That was, again, that was 25 years ago or so. And so she said, just make sure that you don't get diabetes. And because if you get that, it's just going to compound on each other. She said, it may just stay the same for the rest of your life. And so that's all the advice I got. So from then on, I was more careful about sugar and, she said, keep your weight down. So I tried to, watch my weight. And every time I went into the same doctor, the liver enzymes were a little high, but he just never was concerned because he knew me pretty well. And he thought, well, it's just going to go along like this forever. I didn't really think I had any other symptoms, although when I look back on it and read about the symptoms of this, I did have some symptoms, but I didn't recognize them as symptoms. I had leg cramps at night. Well, I thought, okay, it's because I've had 7 kids and my calcium's low or whatever. So I'd take calcium and magnesium. And then I started bruising really easily in the last few years. And I thought, well, I'm just getting old, so I'm bruising because I'm getting old. I'm tired all the time. Well, yeah, I have 7 kids. And of course I'm tired all the time. So I just didn't think about anything like that. Well, I changed doctors because mine retired and went to he was really actually a family friend. And he saw the liver and went, Marie, what's up with your liver? I said, okay, I say this every time I go to a doctor. I always bring up the liver because I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with me. And I said, but my liver enzymes are always high and I'm not sure why, but they said, just don't worry about it. Just don't get diabetes. And he said, well, I want to do an ultrasound and see how your liver's doing. Well, I did the ultrasound. He called me that night and said, Marie, you have cirrhosis, and which shocked the heck out of me. And I thought, I don't understand. Why do I have this? What can I do to change it? I don't. And he said, don't worry. You're not a candidate for a transplant yet. And I thought,
yeah, I love that. A transplant yet.
I know. I said, I don't want to be a candidate for a transplant. This is crazy. Why am I having this? It's just getting worse. And I'm not doing anything to make it worse. So that's when James was talking to you on the phone and he mentioned it. And you said that, well, get her in here. I have a treatment. So I thought, well, I'd rather do that than get a transplant. So I was down there for 3 months and it was really a very pleasant experience. It certainly didn't hurt or anything. In fact, you felt good. And then Dr. Ellsworth, who took me on there, was wonderful. He very much does a lot of research. And so he was able to give me a lot of information about diet and things like that. Told me some books to read, which have helped me a lot. And I realized that probably my whole life I had always been low fat, no fat,
Right.
and that's the way I ate. I thought I ate pretty healthy. I think I ate too much wheat was probably one of my biggest problems. And I also used, corn oil and
Right.
all the seed oils. I
Yes.
never ate butter, and I never ate, that I cut the fat off the meat, and I drank no fat milk, So I was probably doing a lot of things wrong and didn't even know it,
Well,
And
this
when
is what the conventional doctors would say. Don't eat any of these natural oils or fats. Take the seed oils, the processed seed
Right.
oils. Don't eat butter, eat margarine. Stay away from all that. So you're putting chemicals into your body that dysregulate the body. It's crazy, and they still promote this for heart disease and all that. And so you learn is just the opposite of what you were told was true.
Yes. And I was, I never got really heavy, but I could see little pounds stacking on every year, and no matter what I did. So I didn't eat very much, but I was constantly hungry. I thought I'm just going to have to starve myself for the rest of my life to keep my weight down. And it was really because I wasn't eating any fat. And now that I eat fat, sometimes I go half the day and I forget that I didn't eat. I just don't feel hungry.
And the reason that is, folks, to explain, when you have good, healthy, natural fats in your body burns that. Those are called ketones. And you go into ketosis. When you're eating simple carbohydrates, your wheat products, your corn products, your potatoes and rice, those are quickly converted to sugar, which raises your insulin level, and then you become insulin resistant, and sugar gets converted to fat, and the fat deposits itself in all areas of your body, including your liver. So you get a fatty liver, and that's what happens when you eat all these processed oils, that everybody buys over the shelf, all these various seed oils which have been processed, so they're not natural, so they never go bad, although they are bad. They don't go bad like regular oil would over time degenerate. So that's what caused one of the main causes of fatty liver disease, of course, is the insulin resistance that people get from eating and drinking soft drinks and sugar.
Well, I didn't even do that. I mean, I did not keep soft drinks around the house or anything. I would not be a person that you would expect to have liver problems. And it was embarrassing to me. I thought, well, Lord, if I'm going to die of something, can it be something that's not so embarrassing? Everybody thinks I'm a
closet alcoholic.
Yeah, it was crazy. And so I hardly ever drink. So anyway, we listened to the book Wheat Belly on the way home from my treatments, my husband and I, and it was very eye-opening. So I realized that my biggest downfall was probably wheat. Because if I craved anything, it was like, and I would get the whole wheat bread, and I thought I was being healthy. Even the health food, little snack bars, granola, things like that, they have a lot of seed oils in them a lot of times if you read the ingredients. So Dr. Ellsworth told me to read that book and listen and, pay attention to it. And then he told me to read Super Gut, and which was a more complex book. But the bottom line was make this yogurt and eat it.
Make your own yogurt. Are you doing that?
Right. I do that.
Good
I make
for you.
I'm very proud. I've gotten some perfect batches from it. So anyway, and I always take some of that in the morning, and I do the 16-hour fast most of the time. And then I try to do a longer fast maybe once a month,
That's great for you. So your physician in Farmington, what did he recommend for you to do? The last one you went to when they said you had you had non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. What did your physician tell you there could be done about it?
He just said, drop some weight and the typical stuff. I tell you, he was very open. He didn't say, don't go. I told him I was going to go and get these treatments. And he said, well, and I said, I'm going to do this first. I'll go the natural route first. If that doesn't work, I'll go to all this other crazy stuff. And so he didn't really tell me to do anything except to maybe lose weight and exercise. So, but when I got back, I saw that there was a difference. I was losing weight without even trying. I tried to. He was more open. He listens to me, and I think he's paying attention to what's going on with me. But the doctor at the liver place that did the ultrasound, I tried to talk to him. And it was like it was going in one ear and out. He said, well, just keep doing what you're doing. I said, don't you want to hear what I'm doing? Because it's really changing. It's really making a difference. And, just keep doing what you're doing. And I thought, well, okay. Don't you want to know what to do? Because one of the doctors did apologize to me when they first diagnosed me. She said, I want to apologize because you have been telling your doctor for years that you were worried about these high enzymes. And she said, now we're seeing younger and younger and younger people come in with the same thing. And we realize that, there's an issue with the food, but that's about all they've said. They haven't really taken notes. Well, okay, eat more, good fat. And
well, the key thing is that the alpha-lipoic acid, which treats any type of cirrhosis of the liver, end-stage liver disease. So yes. What I want to commend you on, Marie, is that you took charge of your own health and you just didn't roll over and listen to conventional medicine and conventional doctors who offered really no significant help. This ought to be done by every physician that treats people with liver problems. They ought to, and this would be even for any family practitioner. If you got somebody with liver problems, doctor, you ought to use alpha-lipoic acid. It's a no-brainer. You give it IV, doesn't cause any side effects. It's a series of treatments from anywhere from 20 to 30 weeks, and we follow the liver enzymes and we follow the various tests that we do for the liver. We do enhanced liver fibrosis test, blood test, and then we do the ultrasound called elastography, and we look and see what the liver's doing, and we invariably get a significant decrease. Yours decreased by 50% in a matter of what? And what is that? It's in 6 months.
Yeah, and then it has continued to go down. I'm really looking forward to my next elastogram, but it didn't show so much on the enzymes. The enzymes still seem to have, be in the upper regions, but the effect on the liver shows with the elastogram. And I'm not sure that they always do elastograms. No one ever suggested. It's non-invasive. It takes about 5 minutes. It's a great way to check.
Your liver enzymes are within the normal range. They're on the higher side, but they're not above normal. So the liver has, God's given the body amazing restorative power. If you put the right molecules in the body will heal itself. You put the wrong molecules in the body and you're going to become sick. So we're either going to have disease or we're going to have wellness. And wellness is the lack of disease. Disease is the lack of wellness. And you are experiencing liver disease, which can be easily treated dietarily and secondarily with alpha-lipoic acid. So I just want to commend you for taking charge of your health and doing that, Marie. And congratulations on your success.
Well, thank you for pulling me out of a well.
Well, I'm happy for you, and I appreciate you sharing. And if anybody if any of you are experiencing or have been told that you have elevated enzymes slightly, but just don't worry about it, as long as you're feeling good, we'll just watch it. Well, you need to have an elastogram and you need to have an enhanced liver fibrosis test to see if you're experiencing fatty liver disease, which can lead to cirrhosis, fibrotic liver, and lead to liver death and lead to liver cancer. So take charge of your health, and if you'd like to visit about that, we have that treatment program here at the Hotze Health and Wellness Center that Marie went through and has been very successful. So thank you again, Marie, for sharing your wonderful success story with us.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
God bless you.
Physicians Preference Pharmacy is a compounding pharmacy specializing in custom-made prescriptions made especially for you right here on site in our compounding lab. Compounded medications offer a unique solution because you're not one size fits all, and we believe that your medication shouldn't be either. You may require a dose to be made that is not commercially available, or you might even be allergic to an inactive ingredient in a medication, which may present a barrier to treatment for you and requires it to be made without that bothersome ingredient. Your body has unique needs, which means that you deserve a customized approach. So if your medications aren't helping you feel your absolute best, then consider speaking with your doctor about having your medications compounded today.
Information provided on this program is neither intended nor implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice and is not intended to replace the services of a physician, nor does it constitute a doctor-patient relationship. You should not use information from this radio program to diagnose or treat a health problem or disease without consulting with a qualified healthcare provider. If you have or suspect you have an urgent medical problem, promptly contact a professional healthcare provider or call 911. Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution advises you to always seek the advice of a physician or other qualified health provider prior to starting any new treatment or with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Any application of the recommendations from this program is at the listener's discretion.